Hello and welcome to another episode of What Do You Call It podcast. I'm your host, GB. Today's guest is a stand-up comic from Essex, known for his sharp observations, offbeat energy, and fearless delivery. He's the resident MC at the Dirty Dog Comedy Club in Southend, Sax Bar. I've become a bit of a regular there. I can vouch for that place. It's awesome. We are going to discuss it, but please let me introduce Terry Gargan. Terry, how you been, mate? You all good?
I'm all good, brother. Here in the club, as you can see,
Hey, little bit of promotion there, mate. A little bit of promotion.
probably a
Um,
little bit of promotion.
but I'm glad to have you on, mate. I don't normally talk to comedians, even though I like to think I'm funny. But so I think it's gonna be quite a cool episode. Than normally it's
Yeah, I know. I checked out your YouTube channel, man. There's a lot of wrestlers, and but I mean, I don't really fit into the wrestler category. I mean, I like to have a little bit of wrestling again, but
yeah,
mainly
no,
with the crowd.
it'll be good though. Like it's quite a relaxing episode. I also like to have a variety in my episode, not just specifically wrestling, but I've had actors, people in MMA, boxers, footballers. But yeah, let's mix this up. Let's have some fun with this. So I'm glad I got you on. So I know Terry from the Dirty Dog Comedy Club, as I mentioned in the intro, and this is held at Sax Bar in Southend-on-Sea, near the train station in the High Street. Can't miss it. Terry is a brilliant host, and yeah, I can honestly say it's a fun club. It's free entry. It's a good few hours. You don't know really what you can expect because you get so many different comedians, different material. I mean, comedy itself is subjective, but Terry, um, before I do discuss this, let's rewind the clocks, and I want to know how you got into stand-up comedy.
Well, it's a bit of a whirlwind as it goes because obviously I didn't get into comedy until I was in my 40s.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, I had a bit of a interesting life. Spent a bit of time in the army. Then I was a nightclub bouncer. Um, Obviously, my main job is I'm a civil engineer. I think I don't want to bang on about mental health too much because
Yeah.
I think there's enough of that in comedy as it is. But I had some mental health issues in my early 40s. Do you know what? I can't really actually say how it happened. It just, everyone always sort of thought I was funny. And I think it was a sort of out of desperation, I'd gone down a path that I don't know where I was going, and I'd always been interested in comedy. I'd always thought stand up was pretty cool, and I just ended up doing an open mic, and it just went on from there. I think I got the buzz from the first open mic,
Yeah.
um, and it just continued from there. And then within about probably 3 or 4 months, which is pretty quick for most people on the comedy circuit. I got my first paid gig, which
Nice.
was absolutely fucking awful, if I'm honest.
I won't
And
ask. I won't ask. But if you want to reveal it, you
well,
can.
no, I'll tell you, it was pretty much that it was. I was ready to quit basically at that point.
Yeah.
I found, and I'm not. Listen, everyone's got their own comedy journey. Everyone sort of that's in the industry. There's hundreds and hundreds of people like me doing this, going down the open mic circuit, and they end up stuck doing open mics for years. I'm lucky that I've managed to progress pretty quick, where I do a lot of paid gigs now. I don't do the open mic circuit anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was my first, and for the first couple of months, first few gigs I've done, I had very good reception. I didn't bomb, as we call it in the industry. Bombing is when you fucking do terrible, basically, and die on your ass on stage. Um, and maybe I got a little bit too big for my boots, and I got booked for a gig, a paid gig in Hertfordshire. I can't remember the pub's name, but it was a night called Comedy and Casa Roulette. If you don't know what Casa Roulette is, it's pretty much like a posh stew.
Hmm.
Um, it's like sausage and beans or something in a bowl. And anyway, I died on my arse, absolutely died on my arse. I think the age demographic was a little bit out of my league. They was all sort of 60 plus. Obviously, they'd finished their Casa Roulette and then had to listen to me talk about pedos and cocaine. It didn't go down really well. Yeah, no, it was, and I literally walked out of there without even taking my fee. Drove the whole way home punching myself in the face. And said, I ain't never doing comedy again. And it was actually my son. I think you met my son, Oscar. He's the sound engineer here.
Yeah.
The one with the glass and the mullet looks like a sort of Timu Theo Von. Um, he talked me into Dad, come on, you got to keep going, you got to keep going. And it was actually I watched straight after that. I mean, I was adamant. I went, that's it, I ain't doing it no more. I can't die like that, you know. And I watched a video on YouTube of Bill Burr. I don't know
Yeah.
if you must know Bill Burr.
Yeah.
And he was talking about bombing, and he was saying that he bombed 2 years in at a paid gig, and basically described exactly what I was going through. Um, and then a week later, I managed to build up the courage to go back and get out at it again. And I went to a gig in Ealing. It was only an open mic, like a 5 minute spot. And I'd done pretty awful again. And I sort of come outside feeling all disheartened. And there was a comedian outside. I won't name names because it's not nice to know. But he actually done worse than I did. And as I come down the stairs, I sort of greeted him with like sadness and everything. And I was like, and he was all happy. And I sort of said, "Oh, it's bad, isn't it, man?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I said, how long have you been doing it? And he was like, 8 years. And I sort of thought, well, if I'm fucking feeling like this after 3 months and he's still going after 8 years, I should keep going at it. You know what I mean?
That's
So
it, mate.
yeah, the
You're gonna learn
story
from it as well,
continued.
aren't you? Like these events, it's not all gonna be positive. I'm sure you're gonna have to deal with like hecklers as well. You know, I can imagine that being quite difficult. With the hecklers, by the way, how do you handle a heckler during the performance? Hello there. I've got a special announcement from my next guest.
Oi, oi, what's happening, people? It's the Ultimate Geezer, Tommy Tanner, and you're listening to the What Do You Call It podcast. Let's have it.
Yeah, I heard.
Um, I don't know. I mean, you've seen me a few times. You've seen me on stage.
Yeah.
I'm quite forceful, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? Like I say, I was in the army, nightclub bouncer, worked in construction, basically the perfect breeding ground for taking the piss out of people,
Hmm.
and seeing their flaws. Maybe being a bit of a bully, I suppose, in the nicest possible way. So I don't really get phased by hecklers. Hecklers, I actually enjoy hecklers. I actually had one. I done a gig in Ongar at the weekend, and I had a lady that basically fucking ruined everyone's set. And one of my friends, comedian, I've been on site, he just looked at me and was if like, you know what to fucking do with
Yeah.
her.
You're gonna be up
And
for this. Like, this will actually motivate you more. You'll be like, yeah, I'm up for this.
yeah, because of, not only that as well, but I was headlining. I'm sitting there the whole time analysing her. I can pick out all her flaws. I can, do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think in the best possible way, you have to. If it looks like you're picking on someone and bullying them, the rest of the crowd won't get behind you. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So you have to be as jovial and everything as possible. You have to sort of involve them in the joke. I think it has to be a sort of happy medium between fucking taking the piss out of them and destroying them,
Yeah.
but making them laugh at the same time. Because I think if they're not finding it funny, the rest of the crowd are going to look at you like you're a bit of a bully, and it's going to sort of. Do you know what I mean? It
No,
has to
definitely. Got to find that
be. It's
balance.
hard. It's hard being a comedian because, I mean, especially the sort of comedian I am. I'm quite offensive in.
Mhm.
There's no limits I won't take the
You don't
piss
hold
out
back,
of.
from what I've seen
No,
with
I
the
don't
hecklers.
hold back, but at the same time, like there's a fine line between being aggressive and bullying. And if you haven't got the crowd on side with you,
Yeah.
it's never going to work. I always say the first 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, the first 30 seconds on stage, if you haven't got the crowd on your side, you've lost the room. There's no coming back from it. So there always has to be that the way I always put it is make them your friends. If they feel like your friends,
Hmm.
then you're winning. You can say anything. We can say anything to our friends, can't we?
Yeah.
We can go deep, deep down
I
and
don't know. You
dark.
always get
And
that one friend, like they'll give it, but as soon as you give it back, oh, you went too far.
yeah, there's always one person in that group, but as long as the majority's on your side. But what I mean is, we've all got that sick and twisted friend that will
Yes.
say, you know, they will say what everyone else is thinking but knows not to say. And we love them for it. And we're like, oh, you know, sort of like, oh, I can't believe he fucking said that. Do you know what I mean? But that's the sort of person you've got to be on. Say, not every comedian's like that, but I think if they feel that you're their friend, they feel that your intentions are good. You can say anything. You can you know you can make the dead baby joke. You know what I mean. You can step over the line. Obviously, there is a line too far. You know what I mean. But I think the first and foremost is making the room your friend. And yeah, and that's how you deal with hecklers, basically.
So yeah, no, I think that's a good way of analysing it really with the hecklers, and I think you do well from what I've seen. I've seen it quite a few times now. What would you say is the most important quality for a comedian to have?
Honesty. I think if people can see straight, I mean, you get some comedians, they're good actors, they can put on an act. But as soon as you start being saying you're not, people sort of see through it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There has to be a certain amount of honesty to it. They have to believe that what you're telling them, what the joke you're making is what you actually think.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? This is why I don't believe in comedians stealing other people's jokes. I don't believe in writers because I think it has to come from you. Do you know, it has to be honest. It has to be your opinion, whether it's a good opinion, whether it's a bad opinion, whether it's an offensive opinion. But I do think that the crowd can see through you, and they can see that. That's why I think, as comedians, we practice and practice and practice so much. We do the same routine over and over and over again until it becomes completely fluent. So it's almost like a conversation with one of your friends. And then people believe that's what you think. It's natural. It's a natural thing. Like I'm speaking to you now. It's completely
Yeah.
natural. 2 minutes talking.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good way of putting it, mate. It's a weird question to ask, and maybe it's just me, but I want to know what actually makes you laugh. I know you're talking about like, back in the army, sort of the banter that you have with your friends and going too far with jokes. But Terry, like just in general, like what actually makes you laugh?
Um, Do you know what? It's hard because when I got into comedy, I don't tend to watch comedy anymore. Obviously, I'm around comedians all the time.
Yeah.
Most of the comedians that I do gigs with, I've done gigs with for over and over again. I've seen their fucking sets 10, 20 times. I don't know, man. I'm a bit of a sick puppy. I think things that make me laugh is the outrageous, uh, things that you shouldn't say. You know, I make myself laugh a lot of the time. A lot of
I'm
thoughts.
guilty of that. I'm guilty.
I'm a bit of a sick puppy. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm my biggest fan. The only other comedian that I actually find hilarious is my best friend. You've probably seen him here, Bilal Rashid.
Yeah.
He's another me basically, but an Asian version. He's basically just a Pakistani Terry.
Mate, tell me
But
quickly
yeah,
just about how you advertise his sets, like for his shows, how you promote him, like what's on the graphic, like how the theme of it, for his
well,
shows that he does.
the pros and cons of joining ISIS. That's actually his own promotion. It's not mine. I just stick it on the Dirty Dog group. Um,
I love it.
yeah, if anyone's actually watching, Bilal Rashid will be here tomorrow night, doing his full 45-minute set of the pros and cons of joining ISIS. Yeah, I don't know. I find that sort of humour hilarious. The problem is, I'm probably going to get stick from this if there is any other comedians watching tonight. Is in this country, comedy's gone down a very fucking bad path. You know, it's become very woke. There's certain things you can't make. Well, there's certain rules that you can't make fun about certain things.
Yeah.
This is why I started the club, actually. Like, it's why we're the Dirty Dog Comedy Club. I will not have anything here I will have offensive stuff. I love offensive stuff. But I won't have anything homophobic, sexist, or racist. I'm lying about that. Sexist is, I'll probably have a little bit of sexism and probably a little bit of racism as long as it's He takes big, but I think we've sort of lost touch in this country with what is comedy. I think there's too many people now are quick to just jump on things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I know comedy
That's
is
probably
subjective,
another
and I
reason.
get that. But when people are like going out of the way to be offended, fair enough, right? If there's
Oh,
things you don't find
definitely.
funny, that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
But there's something like
yeah. I mean, I advertise Bilal's. I advertise Bilal's night, and obviously, if you see it, if anyone hasn't seen it, maybe stick a little picture up in the corner when you're doing this. But the pros and cons of joining ISIS, and his picture of half his head being blown up and everything else. And I actually had a couple of people message me saying, "Is this a fucking joke?" And I sort of messaged back and said, "Yeah, that's kind of the fucking idea of it, like." Um, First of all, Bilal's Pakistani. If anyone's allowed to make fun about that, I think it should be him. Um, and secondly, start making so fucking butter. It's not. There's no racism in there. He's not joking about terrorism. He's actually joking about the opposite of it. He's actually joking about uh, but people's faults, what people assume of the average Muslim man today.
yeah,
Um, and obviously, Bilal fucking pushes out of the park and fucking kicks it straight out of the arena. But there's too much of that. There's too much. People see me on stage. I'm 6'5", covered in tattoos, sound the way I sound, and straight away they think I'm some sort of reform voter,
yeah,
EDL
like
fucking
Tommy Robinson's
member.
best mate or something.
Exactly, yeah. And I even joke about it on stage, like because that's what we should be doing. I think comedy should be completely open-minded, and I think people should, rather than look for the racism, look for the homophobia, look for the sexism, look for whatever it is that fucking offends them. They should just chill the fuck out, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's comedy in everything.
that's it. Like, I just don't get it. Like, if you don't like something, that's fine. I understand if it's not for you or if you take offense to that. I understand. I do think, like what you said earlier, you do need to find a balance. As long as you're not outright being sort of racist or sexist or homophobic, but there might be sort of a racial joke, that sort of thing. I myself got dark humor. I don't find myself easily offended. I don't really care. But if someone is offended, just turn it off. Hello there. I've got a special announcement for my next guest.
Hola, I'm Shelly Martinez, and this is Minnie, and I'm going to be the next guest on the What Do You Call It podcast. Tune in.
Yeah, I heard. You do what you do. You go watch what you find funny, and then let everyone else enjoy what they enjoy. But I just think some
I
people are just
don't think
wired differently.
I don't think I've come across a comedian, maybe one or two, um, that actually have any of them sort of intentions or faults. I think every comedian comes on stage wanting to make people laugh. There's no
Mm.
sort of, oh, I'm going to get up here and offend. I mean, like the days of Bernard Manning and comedians like that fucking long gone, thank fuck. Um, but I do think, I mean, I can tell you jokes that I've done on stage that probably could be perceived as being racist or making me look racist. Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? But I always tend to try and twist the joke and either make the crowd be the racist people,
Yeah.
and make me look sort of like angelic. Um,
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time for What Do You Call It? Podcast.